Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. We are here at another wonderful Sabbath after the week. So let's do the petition this time, the prayer. And we are going to read Psalm 8, and we are going to face the south. Now, I'll explain the reason for that in a minute, but let me just read Psalm 8. O Yud-Heh-Vah, our Master, how excellent is your name in all the earth, you who has set your glory above the Shemaim. Out of the mouth of babies and infants you have founded strength because of your enemies, that you might silence the enemy and the avenger. When I consider your Shemaim, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have established, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you visit him? For you have made him a little lower than the powers, and have crowned him with glory and respect. You made him to have dominion over the works of your hands. You have put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, yes, and the beasts of the field, the fowl of the air and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passes through the paths of the seas. O Yud-Heh-Vah, our Master, how excellent is your name in all the earth. And we'll go to Psalm 119, and we'll complete the reading this time for... let me get to it. Tav, which is the last part of the psalm. Let my cry come before you, O Yud-Heh-Vah. Give me understanding according to your word. Let my supplication come before you. Rescue me according to your word. My lips shall utter praise when you have taught me your statutes. My tongue shall speak of your word, for all your commandments are righteous. Let your hand help me, for I have chosen your precepts. I have longed for your rescue, O Yud-Heh-Vah, and your Torah is my delight. Let my soul live, and it shall praise you, and let your judgments help me. I have gone astray like a lost sheep. Seek your servant, for I do not forget your commandments. Baruch Hashem, Todah Rabbah. Thank you, Abba, for bringing us from last week, for providing our nourishment, providing our sustenance, for providing our shelter, and for providing our transportation if we were able to, if we wanted to go out and come back in, for providing the transportation that we needed. We thank you, Todah, and we give you thanks, and we praise your holy name, and we petition and pray for our leaders in this nation where we are, for wise leaders, wise decisions that will help the people to be better citizens, better people for themselves and for others. And we pray for the security and for the stability of this nation, and we also petition for the restoration of the tribes of Israel and the restoration back to the homeland of all Israel, as you have stated in your written words. Baruch Hashem, may your name be glorified forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Okay, so the reason why we faced the south this time with the Psalm 8 is the south is representative for wisdom. Remember, I told you last week that if you wanted to seek wealth and financial ability, then you face the north if you wanted to get more financial well-being. If you wanted to get more wisdom and be more wiser, then you face the south. Now, it's good to face the south, and this time we didn't face the north. The reason being that we want to be wise, because wisdom will allow us to make better decisions. If we have made wrong choices, wrong decisions in the past, then this time, by being or having more wisdom, we would make better decisions on our part that may affect us and our families directly or indirectly. That's very important to understand, okay? So that's the reason why we face the south. So we'll go to the Parshas in a second, but before I do, I wanted to make the announcement of the festivals that are coming up. And the festivals that are coming up, our Feast of Trumpets is on the 19th of September, which is a Tuesday. And it's also called the Festival of Noah, by the way. Yom Teruah, Festival of Trumpets and Festival of Noah. So that one, as you already been told, you bring a Zadakah offering, to the Kohen in the gate. You also, what you do is, in your home with your families, you make a nice meal. Usually the custom, it varies with each country where you belong and where you live. So mostly what happens is they take a piece of fish and they grill it, and they put the fish on the meal table, and then they put, extras with it. Whatever extras could be, whatever things you desire to eat, and whatever is your custom, according to your custom. Different people have different customs. And for desserts, again, different people have different customs. You do the dessert according to your country and according to your custom. There is no set prescription. It doesn't say, well, you got to have a forest ghetto cake or a cheesecake. It's really up to your custom and your country of origin where you live, and you will do your custom according to that. And the only thing usually on the dish, main meal, is that there is a meat dish. Either it's fish or it's beef or it's lamb, out of the three. Lamb is usually the order for the Passover. Beef usually other times, but mostly these other festivals like Feast of Trumpets, and then we're going to have the Yom Kippur, which is going to happen on day 9 from September 19. So day 9 will be 20. I think the date is marked wrong in this calendar. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 29. So 29 sorry, not 29, 27 and 28. So 27, 28, Tishri 9 and Tishri 10. So I think I did last week mention that the dates were marked wrong in the calendar. Just make sure that on the solar calendar, you're going to be on day 9 of the month is going to be the fast beginning, which is the evening of, and then on the next day at the sunset is the fast ends, and it will be the commemorating of the feast and your meal. And so it's good to have a hearty meal, like a fish meal, maybe like a protein type meal, because if you are fasting, then you're obviously losing calories, proteins, and minerals in your body. So then it's a good idea to supplement with a fish meal or a meat type meal, because that will supplement your body with the proteins that you need. But fasting is very good for you. If you are on medication, as I told you earlier, that you can have a smaller fast, a water fast maybe, and maybe you can break it down to maybe 5-6 hour fast, and then that'll be the order of the day for you. You don't have to do a 25 hour fast. It's not necessary for you to endure such a long fast, considering that your health, and maybe some people are on medication, and it's not always possible for everybody to fast like that. So avoid the full fast if you have to be dependent on any kind of medication. Okay, be aware of that, please, because there is no, Torah does not command you to go all out and fast like that. It doesn't. There is provisions in which you are permitted to not to fast in the full length of order, provided you understand that you can do it in part, and that part is accepted. Yes, it's accepted by God. It's not considered a breaking of the fast. It's not considered an overa of any kind. It's not considered a violation. It's considered perfectly acceptable because of your said condition. Okay, so with that, I wanted to give a little testimony that somebody just told me recently that they had been struggling with an illness where they were not able to sit up straight in a chair, and on a comfortable chair or a couch, and also they would not be able to sit up on a wooden chair, and they would definitely not be able to crouch down in a position with lotus position. It was very difficult for them. So they had been suffering with that condition for 15 years. It's a massive breakthrough for them that they are now able to almost, they said it wasn't 100% yet, but it was fairly high percentages, very high percentages that now they can sit up straight, and they can also sit on a wooden chair, and they can also crouch down, to that lotus position somewhat, which they had extreme difficulty. And I had advised them to, if they could crouch down into that position for their meditation, because it will help them, because they needed to open their root chakra, which is at the base of the spine. So that person told me that they were very happy that they are able to almost completely do that now and sit up, and they're very happy because they told me that it's hard for me to understand the level of joy that they have received from this healing process that has brought them to this stage, because it was really a down in the dumps kind of situation, and they're so very happy that God has blessed them with a tremendous encouragement and healing, and we give thanks and Baruch Hashem, praise God for that they are in a much better state of health, and so can you be as well in whatever state of health you are. As I explained to you that don't give up, just continue to petition, continue to do. So the festivals are going to be, there's going to be the festival of trumpets, then there's going to be the festival of Yom Kippur, and then we're going to have tabernacles. So there's 3 festivals back to back, and coming month, this month and the coming months. In other words, 2 are going to be this month, trumpets and atonements, and then the 3rd one is going to be next month, in the beginning of the month. I believe it's around about beginning of October, if I'm not mistaken. October 3, Tishri 15 is Sukkot Tabernacles. Okay, so that'll be for 8 days. So remember that, mark it down in your calendars. Tishri 9, the month of the 9th and the 10th. 9th is the start of the fast, 10th is the finish. If you are healthy, if you are able person, I will encourage you to do the full fast and refrain from any food and water if you're able, and that will do an immense amount of goodness to your body. A fast, remember I spoke about a fast for 3 days. If you're a healthy individual and you are able to do so, is to fast for 3 days, no food, no water. Okay, now maybe some of you might want to do water fast instead of, if you can't do the 3 days. I have done the 3-day fast many times before, no food, no water, back in the UK. I used to do that quite often, and that, as I told you, if you want to be youthful, if you want to look young, and if you want to regenerate your stem cells, like maybe you have problems in your body in the past and you're dealing with the problems and you want to get rid of those problems. So what your body needs to do is get rid of the diseased blood cells and produce new blood cells. You do a 3-day fast. Now, in your case, the way it can work is you can do a water fast. It means that you don't have to do a complete blind, food abstinence. You can do a water fast, which means that you still get the same benefit as a food abstinence, because you can do food abstinence by just water and very small amount of salt in your water, no more than that, like just very small amount. And what that will do is, on the 3rd day, if you fast like that for 3 days straight, and you can start the fast whenever you want to and count 3 days, and if you do that, the 3rd day, exactly after, if you calculate 24 hours and if we multiply 24 by 3, that is 72 hours. After 72 hours, approximately, the 73rd hour, let me make it clear, the 73rd hour, your body starts to produce fresh, new stem cells, and your body kills off all your disease cells in your body. It will kill them off, and it will discard them, and you will produce new stem cells, and those stem cells will help you. They will not rejuvenate only your body, the whole body. They will rejuvenate your kidneys, your liver, your heart, your spleen, your stomach. Every organ of your body will be rejuvenated, your lungs. And think of the immense benefit of that. If you, a person who had problems with illnesses in the past, and this is one sure way of, starting to cure yourself completely. Okay? So I would encourage that if you are in that situation. Now, the status of play, as you know, last week, the status of play was a G20 meeting going on the previous Shabbat itself, and in India. India is an upcoming nation. We spoke about India last time, and as I was telling you that the G20 meetings in India and the BRICS, I guess India is part of the BRICS and one of the first starting nations for the BRICS. Now, the war in Ukraine rages on, and lots of things can be said about the war, but I don't want to say anything negative about the war. I'll simply say this, that there's lots of conspiracy theories out there, and maybe it's something that we don't focus on. My request and my instruction to all of you is forget about what's happening in the world. What's happening with Ukraine and Russia. Sure, it may be headlines, and just leave it as headlines. And what's happening in California, floods in Nevada and other things going on, hurricanes and whatnot, and other places. But keep it as headlines, unless it affects you directly. Keep it as headlines because you want to focus on yourself. You want to better your life. That's where your focus should be. Do not focus on what's happening with Nevada floods and why this Burning Man festival over there and whatever they're doing and whatnot. So I would encourage you to focus on self. Develop yourself. Focus on yourself for your self-development. My last lecture was on write the vision. Write what it is that you desire. And I told you that every night I remind you again, and I'll remind you this every Sabbath till the 90 days are probably up. Every Sabbath I'm reminding you that every day you have a pot, you have a purse of $2 million. You have an imaginary $2 million, and you're going to be spending it at night when you're going to bed. You're going to bed happy that you're now going to spend your $2 million. Whatever it is you want to buy. You want to buy a new car, electric car, which I don't recommend. But if you want to buy a new electric car, you want to buy a new iPhone, you want to get a new laptop, you want to get new clothes, perfume, I don't know, other things that you desire. Whatever you desire, house, land, and there's many other things in the world. So whatever your holiday may be, going to different countries, whatever you desire, you got $2 million spend. But out of that $2 million spend, there's one important thing that I didn't mention previous time. I'll mention it this time, that you need to generate an income. Okay, your goal. Maybe you have, let's say, $200,000 budget in that money to spend on yourself frivolously. Whatever you want to. Things can expire, things that you don't use, things that you throw away, discard. Okay, you got $200,000 budget to do that. Yeah, go buy stuff that you're just gonna waste. $200,000, and then you got 1.8 million left. That 1.8 million, I want you to think. You're gonna be doing this when you're lying in your bed, and you're gonna be thinking this: I want to spend this money, and I want to invest it in different pots, Your investment should be returning a yield, a monthly yield. What is a monthly yield? Well, let me give you an idea. Let's say that you invest your 2 million, you frivolously spend 200,000, you got 1.8 million left, okay? And we are aiming for the 1.8 million, we are aiming for a 5% a month, okay? 5% a month only. I'm not asking for a huge amount. What's a 5% a month? Maybe 5% a month might be too much for most of you. Okay, we won't say 5% a month. We'll make it a 5% a year, annual, okay? This is going to be annual. So you're generating a 5% annual return from that 1.8 million. And what is that? That's $90,000. And if you top it to 100, that's great. I want you to be investing into different areas. And you think about that. I want you to think about it. I want you to think about in the areas you're investing, and you should be generating a $90,000 to $100,000 return a year with that money. Okay? So once you generate a $90,000 to $100,000 annual income, and we break it down by a month, that means divided by 12, 100,000 is 8,333. 90,000 income divided by 12 will give you $7,500 spending income. In other words, and I'm talking about after taxes. In other words, when I say after taxes, or let's just say before taxes. Let's say that you get $7,500 income a month, and now you tax it. Okay, apply a tax bracket. Let's say, for argument's sake, on 7.5, you have to pay, let's call it 30% tax. Okay, so you deduct. Let me give it to you what you're going to end up with after 7,500. You're going to end up with $5,250 a month income. So let's round it up roughly. I'm saying roughly. I'm rounding it up to $5,000. You should be ending up with $5,000 income. That 1.8 million is invested, giving you $5,000 every month of spendable income after taxes. And the more you can make it, the better for you. That is what you're doing with your exercise every night. Get it? It's not just a spend frivolous night. It's an evening in which you are planning. You are planning your future. You're planning your future with $2 million. And you are saying that $200,000 of that money I can use wherever I want to. I can just throw it away and I can just give it to somebody in the street. And that's okay if you want to do that. But the rest of your money, you're investing it and you're returning a 5% return at the end of the year. And that's not a huge amount, by the way. Some people can return much more than that. But let's just say, for most of you who are not financial savvy, for you 5% will be tough. It'll be a tough nut to crack. So if you can crack that tough nut, great. And I want you to think, and how are you going to think it? Well, you can't think of it while you're sleeping, can you? You know, you're going to lay down in bed and you're going to be working out, well, what do I spend where and how much do I spend and what do I return I get? Those plannings, the plannings you're going to do in the daytime, in your spare time in the day, you're going to plan, if I buy something for X amount of money, this is what the return is going to give me. Then sure. Like, give you an example, a simple example. If you invest your money into REITs, R-E-I-T, these are investments in the stock market which are pay you a dividend from they do invest in real estate, shopping centers and whatnot. So if you invested in a REIT, R-E-I-T, most REITs pay you a between 9% to 11% dividend. So that could be one investment, okay? Then I've given you one. Now you figure out the rest. So you figure out your investments and you invest into that. And sure, you might be enticed to say, I'll invest the whole amount in a REIT and I'll get 9% return. And sure, yeah, you can. And that's a great return. But I don't want you to just invest in REIT. I want you to invest in a number of investments, maybe 3, maybe 4, in which you get a round return, in which you can have a round return up to 5%. I mean, slightly higher is nicer, but for you 5%, as I said, is a good place to start. So if you can do that, that's wonderful. And you're going to do the planning in the daytime, and you're going to do the visualizing or the imagining in the night time where you're spending the money. So I want you to do that every night, okay? Every night. And during the day, you have a journal, you get a copy and a notepad, and you write in there what investments you want to make with that $1.8 million. Where am I going to invest my money? And I want you to write it. I want you to plan it. I want you to have this, I want you to read this every day. And when you go to bed at night, you're going to say this. You're going to say, thank you, Father, for already giving me the $2 million. And you're going to say it 5 times. Thank you, Father, for already giving me the $2 million in my bank. And after you say that 5 times, now you lie down and now you start to imagine where you're spending your money, where you're doing your $200,000 spend, and then where you are investing the 1.8. And while you're doing that, you're going to fall asleep. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to do this exercise every night. Now, I know, and I don't want to use colorful language, because if you were sitting here, I might even use colorful language, but I won't use colorful language. I will just tell you this, that most of you won't even get 50% there, because you will just be frivolous. You won't know where to put the money in. You're not money savvy, and you're going to end up losing it all. That's reality. This is reality, by the way. Most of you who get $2 million, you're just going to end up blowing it away in seconds, or in days, or in weeks, or months. Months is even a bigger number, maybe in weeks. So most of you are just going to waste it, and I know it more than any of you. So, but there's some of you who will not waste it, who will actually invest it, who will get a return, and get a good return out of it, that you can have a comfortable lives with your family. So I want you all who are listening in. This may be, you might be thinking, but I thought this is a Torah lecture. Yeah, this is a Torah lecture. Torah is all about your family, your finances, your life. That's what Torah is about. Torah is not about doing some ritual and some dancing with you. Tell it on your face, That's the BS that, you learn from Messianics. We are not into this Messianic BS. I'm talking about real life over here, real world. In the real world, Torah is about how you manage your family, how you manage your relationship with God. That's Torah, by the way. So let's come back to the lecture now. Parsha, lecture just started. Parsha, nitzavim. Nitzavim. You stand this day, all of you, before Yud-Heh-Vah, your power, your captains of your tribes, your elders and your officers with all the men of Israel, your infants, your wives, and the foreigner that are in your camp, from the woodcutters to the mime carriers to the water carriers. By the way, I'm reading from the Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls, widely available from Amazon and from Lulu Publishing. That you should enter into covenant with Yud-Heh-Vah, your power, and into his oath, which Yud-Heh-Vah, your power, makes you this day. Okay, this day. Today, by the way, this day is not back in 2215 or 1516 BC. This is not 1516 BCE. This day for you and for us is today. Today's date is this day, 16th of September is this day. So there says you shall enter into covenant. What does that mean, enter into covenant? It means that on the festival, maybe the Yom Truah, the festival of trumpets, the first one. Then the next one is atonement. Then is tabernacles. You can make it on the trumpets, the festival of trumpets. You're going to stand there. You're going to face the east. That is, if that's where the Jerusalem is for you. You're going to face the east, and you're going to make an oath and a covenant with God. You're going to enter into a covenant, means a marriage contract, a marital contract with God. I will walk your Torah, and God, you will support my cause. In other words, you will support me, you will nourish me, you will feed me, you will clothe me, you will house me, you will give me the car that I need to drive, but I will walk your Torah. I will be part of your family, and I will do what is necessary in the Torah. That means you'll work, you'll feed your family, you'll give the tithes of the car, you'll be a right ruling, righteous man, and you'll be a law-abiding citizen. That's what that means. So you'll do all of those things and you enter into a covenant. It says you shall enter into covenant with the Lord your God. Okay, I'll put it in the other English. The Lord your God, and into his oath, which the Lord your God makes you this day, that he will establish you today for a people. That's right now. Like, on the festival, when you stand with your family and you bless your family and you say that, yes, I make a covenant with God and I am his people now. He's my God and I'm his people. And it says that as he has sworn to your fathers, now you become part of Abraham. So you become part of Abraham, and it says Yitzhak and Yaakov and Isaac and Jacob. And it says, not only with you do I make this covenant, not only with you, but also with your children. It says, but with him that stands here with us this day, with the Lord your God, with Yehovah your power, and also with him that is not here with this day. Meaning that you were not present in 1516 BCE, but you are present today in 2023 September. Now you're making the covenant. Your children, you, your spouses, if you have spouses, and vice versa. If you don't have spouses, doesn't matter. You still stand. You face the east and you make the covenant, make the oath with God that you'll serve God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and that you love God in due way as well. Okay, that's what you're meant to do. And this is the part of this Parsha, and this is what I want you to remember, and I want you to do this festival of trumpets. Okay, so this is very, very important. And it also goes on to say that in verse 19, it comes to pass that when he hears the words of this curse, that he speaks blessing for himself in his heart, saying, I shall have shalom, though I keep my halakha, my commandments, my way of living with a rebellious heart, the watered ground with the parched. What God is saying here, that if you decide to walk contrary to what I have commanded you, the laws I've given you, you decide to walk, no, I'm going to do the other way, I'm going to do my own way, and I'm going to do the way I think is right. And so God says that you walk with a rebellious heart, that, then God will not be willing to forgive him, that the anger of God will be, and his jealousy will be arisen against that person, and the curses that are written in this book shall lie upon him. My goodness, curses are very heavy, by the way, in this book. So let's not go there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to talk about the curses. They're too heavy. Let's just talk about the blessings. God has plenty of blessings in the book, and we'll speak the blessings. Remember what I told you last time? Speak the blessings to yourself. How do you speak the blessings? Well, you can stand in front of the mirror, or you can be without the mirror. You don't need a mirror, but if you have it, it's okay. If you don't have it, it's okay. Both ways okay. How do you speak the blessings? I am blessed. I am worthy. I am chosen. I am high priority. I am great. I am financially able. I am financially blessed. Money comes to me easily. These are the kind of blessings that you will do to yourself every day. Okay, it's not a one-off. It's not a one-time, you're feeling good today because you had your Coca-Cola and you're feeling happy today. You had all that, sugar in there, and you're happy to drink the sugar. But then for a moment, you get the dopamine effect. You got the high dopamine, and you feel really happy. And you read those, you say those blessings, and you can write them on a card, and speak from the card. That's okay as well, because that way you know exactly what you're speaking every day. So I want you to speak those blessings every day. And you can say, I am financially free. Nothing wrong with that. It's a great blessing to have. I am financially free, even though everything looks like dismal. It looks like it's the opposite. Don't worry about it. Keep saying it, because let me remind you of something, and maybe this may resonate with you. When I was, I'm still young, whippersnapper, but when I was, 6 years old, 7 years old, my parents, they told me to learn the tables, the 2 times tables, the 3 times, the 4 times, up to, I don't know, it was, 12, somewhere there. up to 16, something like that. So, you'd sit there, and of course, as a young child, you didn't know what's 2 times 2, but once you start practicing, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, and you do that every day. Repetition matters, by the way. And we do keep repeating it, keep it then 4 times, and 5 times, and 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. So what was the purpose of repetition? It became second nature. Our body absorbed those numbers, and it became second nature. Now when you go to the store, and the man says to you, hey, this item's going to cost you $12, and there's 3 of them, you instantly know, 12 times 3, 36. So you can instantly work it out without your calculator. Most people can't even work out without calculator, but you don't need a calculator because you recited it, you memorized it. So you're going to memorize it. And how do you memorize it? Because you say the blessings every day, over and over again, And what happens? They become part of you. Repetitions are how you become a master at them, and they become part of your body, your brain, your rest of your body. Just like pains can stay in your body. Pains can be in your shoulder, in your joints, and they rest in your joints, and there's ways to get those pains out because they're resting in different cells of your body, and we have techniques to get them out. But there's also technique to reinvigorate your financial worth. By saying these blessings every day, you reinvigorate your financial health and your other health too. Add some of the great blessings for the other part. I'm in great health. I'm in wonderful health. I'm in perfect health. So once you do that, but you must do it every day. Okay, you do it every day, consistently. Just because it's a Sabbath doesn't mean you take a day off. You say, because don't you want the blessings on the Sabbath? Sure you do. So you say it on the Sabbath as well. 7 days a week, make a habit. When I was a little kid, my mother, she put me to a tutor. A tutor would come and teach me and my brother of how to, do the maths. And he would teach us, and we'd have to practice, on our little slate with a little chalk, or, that to write it with a notepad. And we learned how to do that. So get a notepad, write your blessings down, or get a little card, index card or something, piece of paper, write down on there at least 10 blessings. 5 financial, 5 personal. 5 financial, 5 of yourself, like health, how what kind of person you are. I'm a great person. I'm a worthy person. I'm chosen. Those kind of blessings. I am chosen. I am blessed. I am worthy. I am high priority. That's what I mean by the self-concept type affirmations. And then the financial type affirmations. 3 or 4 of the financial affirmations, you write them down. And when you write them down, and then you speak of them every day in the mirror. Morning you get up, you speak. Evening, before you go to bed, you speak. And before you know it, they become part of you. And when they become part of you, suddenly you find out one day that you became a rich man and you know how to handle your wealth. And the reason why I'm giving you the $2 million exercise, for you to understand how to handle money. There are people in America who win the lottery every day. There's some person out there winning the lottery, because there's number of lottery jackpot winnings that happen during the week, and there are many families that win. But you find the horror stories. What's the horror stories? Well, somebody won 500. Somebody won 10 million or 50 million or 100 million or maybe 500 million, and they won that money. And then after that, 7 months later or 10 months later or a year later, they're bankrupt. Why? Because they did not know how to handle the money. They were never trained to handle finance. So I want you to handle the finance every night. This is your exercise now to start to become rich. You first become rich in your mind, in internal. When your internal is rich, it will show up on the outside as well. Okay? First on the internal, then it will show up on the outside. You cannot expect it to come on the outside and then internalize it. It doesn't work like that. You must first internal, then external. First in your internal world, then our external. First in your kingdom, then it comes out of the kingdom. All good things come out of the kingdom. Okay, all good blessings, all good things come out of the kingdom. So remember that. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for listening. I want you to wish you a wonderful Sabbath, wonderful next week. And remember what I said, practice, practice, practice makes perfect. The more you recite, the more you say it, the more in tune, and the more closer you get to your goal, and one day you have your goal. Baruch Hashem. Be blessed, be happy. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.